Thank you so much. Good evening. It's the wrong question. The question is not, why do we love, but why do we hate? The question is not so much, why are we in relationships, but why are the relationships that we're in so difficult? We have a crisis of love. We believe in love deeply. We believe in love almost above anything else. From the age of 12, 13, 14, we start to dream of love and what love means. Love means a perfect other human being who will understand us, with whom there will never need to be loneliness again. A perfect human who will complement us and with whom we will become whole human beings. That is the dream of love. The reality of love is that in Korea, at the moment, 75% of couples get divorced. Another 20% wish that they could get divorced if there weren't too many financial obstacles. And only 3% would declare themselves in secret, entirely happy with their love lives. So, ladies and gentlemen, please consider the statistics. You are believing in love as something that works out happily for 3% of the population. We have decided that love is a sensible thing for everyone to believe, even though only 3% will ever get there. It is crazy. No wonder we are slightly confused. I hope this evening to shed some light on the confusion, to try and make things a little bit clearer, try and explain where we might be going wrong. Well, one of the problems in our society is that we are too romantic. You know that word, romantic? It suggests someone who loves love. They don't just love a particular person. They love the idea of love. They love romantic films. They love romantic music. They love sunsets, candles, walks in the countryside, love letters. All of these things they love. And we live in a culture which takes the romantic spirit very seriously indeed. I want to argue that the romantic spirit is very dangerous. And to really believe in love, to be properly a lover of love, maybe means giving up on the idea of the romantic. Let me explain. We live in a culture where it's very normal to fall in love at first sight, to develop crushes. You know, the other day in England, a friend of mine, a grown-up man, said to me, you know, I'm so in love. I said, oh, really? Well, how come? He said, well, I was waiting in the train station to give my luggage, and I saw a woman, so beautiful. I said, what did she look like? He said, well, I only saw her from behind. I said, how was she? Beautiful, amazing hair, gentle slope of her neck, and just perfect cheek as well. And I said, well, but were you able to speak to her? He goes, no, I don't know her name. We never spoke again. She disappeared into the crowd. But I know, my heart and her heart, I feel a connection. I'm not joking. This man runs a business in the biotechnology area. He is the boss of 200 other adults. He is an adult, but not quite. And he's not an exception. As I say, we live in a romantic age. We really believe in crushes and love at first sight. It's so lovely. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm as excited as the next person. I love these stories. but I also realize their danger. I want to ask some of the reasons why a happy relationship is so rare. Why is it so hard to be in a happy relationship? Well, one of the first and biggest reasons is we do not understand ourselves, right? You don't understand you, and I don't understand me. We are mysterious to ourselves. So when we take ourselves to another person, we don't know who we are. Most of us are very damaged inside. There's something quite wrong with me and with you. I mean, let's admit it, we are all crazy, right? You know it. I mean, we're all crazy, right? The thing is that most of us don't admit it to ourselves, partly because we can't see it. It's quite hard to see how crazy you are when you are on your own. See, when you're on your own, if you are angry, you don't shout. You just behave calmly because there's no one to hear. When you are anxious but alone, you don't really have anyone to hold a mirror to your anxiety. So our weird behavior, let's imagine you love cleaning a lot. You really love cleaning. If you live on your own, no one will notice that you clean all the time when you are anxious as a way of avoiding stress. No one will know this about you. It's only when we are with another person that they hold a mirror to our craziness and we realize, maybe I am a bit strange. But we don't know this for a very, very long time. Our friends, we may have friends, but friends are never really honest with us about what we're like because they just want to be kind. So they never say things like, I mean, have any of your friends ever said, you know, you're a bit annoying. You're a bit of an annoying person and you're a bit mad and strange. We never, because basically, friends at the end of the evening, they will say bye-bye and go off, and they won't have to live with our awkward, difficult sides. And therefore, they don't want to tell us about them. And then sometimes we end up in a relationship, and our lover is saying, you know, you're really a bit crazy. You're cleaning, you're getting angry, you stay up all night, you do these weird things. And we may say, my friends don't think I'm crazy. Well, of course your friends don't think you're crazy. They don't know you well enough, and they wouldn't bother to tell you you were crazy because it's not worth their time. So it's really only our lovers who properly understand us. And the truth is dark and difficult in all of us. All of us are crazy. So the first reason why love is so difficult is we have no adequate level of self-knowledge. We don't understand ourselves well enough. Problem number 2 is we can't understand other people well enough. We are not good enough psychologists of others. You know, when we get together with a lover and somebody says, so why did you fall in love with this person? Why? How did you fall in love? And you say, it was great. We went to the movies and they like the same movie as me. Wow, that's great. And not only that, they both like the same songs. They like 3 songs they like and that we like. And so really we have a special connection because of the movie and the 3 songs. So we really feel like we understand each other. And then a friend may say, do you understand their childhood and how they develop? Oh, sure, yeah, the mother's a teacher, and I think the father's a lawyer. Oh, okay, great, right. This is nothing. You do not understand someone like this. To understand somebody properly takes about 2 years of constant interrogation, psychological questionnaires, examination of the mind. It's a scientific process, and it takes about 2 years, right? I mean, think how long it takes to understand a city, right? To understand Seoul, you'd have to live here for a while, at least a couple of years, right? The human brain is more complicated, has more alleyways and streets and highways than a city. And yet we just look at it from afar and we go, oh, it looks quite nice. Well, great, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. We have no clue. Most people, when they get married, it's two people who don't understand themselves and they don't understand each other either. And they are saying, we will love forever. But they don't understand who they are or who they're saying they will love forever. So it's total mystery. In the future, in about 200 years' time, when we finally realize that divorce is too painful, it costs too much, children are too unhappy, we will finally take this problem seriously. And it will be very normal before a couple is allowed to marry that you have to do tests for about 2 years, and then you will have a book written, normally about 300 pages, and in it, the book will be called Who I Am, and it will have responses to questionnaires, diagrams, psychological answers, etc. It will also, another way of calling it, will be called How I Am Crazy. How I Am Crazy. And when you go on a date with someone in 200 years' time, you'll be sitting down for dinner, and then you have to get out your How I Am Crazy, and they'll get out How I Am Crazy, and you just swap. Like How I Am Crazy. And then you go, oh, great, okay, so I see you're quite scared of intimacy, and you get quite angry, you're worried about money, blah, blah. And then it'll be fascinating. And of course, we won't be able to fall in love and think that someone is perfect, because the book will tell us that, of course, they're not perfect. But we will know we're not perfect either. We won't be looking for perfection. We will be looking for someone quite nice and crazy in a way that we can be crazy with them in compatible ways. Another reason why we're often unhappy in love is that happiness is, for many of us, a very unfamiliar emotion. When you marry or look for love, very often what you want to do is to try to rediscover or re-find the atmosphere of your earliest childhood. You want to re-find the love that you first knew as a child. The problem is that many of us first had love mixed in with quite a few other problematic, difficult things. Maybe our mother shouted a lot, or maybe our father was often away, or in some way, we were not necessarily perfectly happy in early childhood love. And this means that when we are adults, we aren't always looking, when we are dating people, we're not always looking for the perfect person, because perfection and health is sometimes unfamiliar. You know how sometimes your friend tells you, I've met a great person, you will love them, they are perfect for you. And you go on a date, and they are really nice, and they seem really nice, and they look nice, and they're kind of interesting. But you sort of think, I don't get the special feeling. I don't have the special feeling. I don't feel I could fall in love with them. And you say, maybe they're a bit boring. I don't have that special feeling. Now, my sense is what's going on is that they are not crazy enough for you. And so you call them a bit boring. What that really means is they are too healthy for you. Because it isn't always health, emotional health, that we are looking for in relationships. We are looking to re-find the love that we knew as children. And that love was often quite unhealthy love, mixed in with other things. So that's why sometimes we reject nice guys and nice girls. We like them, but we couldn't fall in love. It feels unfamiliar. Another reason why we have such difficulties in love is that we believe in instinct rather than analysis. Romantic people believe that what you feel is always better than what you think. It's like, I have a feeling, and the feeling is so important, you mustn't chop it up with reason. Because if you analyze a feeling, the romantic person thinks, if you analyze a feeling too much, you will kill it. And therefore, you need to just feel. Romantic people love spontaneity. They love feelings that just come from somewhere, and they hate education, study in love. They hate the idea of studying love. Why would you study love? You must feel love. You must open your heart. That's very important. Romantic people believe in honesty. They believe that in order to love, you must say exactly what you feel. If you feel angry, you must say. If you feel sad, you must say. Always be honest. That is the friend of love. Other people think, maybe what's really important is politeness. Maybe it's more important to be polite than to be honest. Maybe it's more important not to say some things. But as I say, the romantic person wants to be always honest. Romantic people believe in special moments. That night when we stayed up all night and looked at the moon, or the evening we swam in the river and it felt so special. They like special moments. Other people are okay with just the ordinary. An ordinary day at home, that's okay too. But the romantic doesn't like the ordinary. The romantic likes the special. These romantic attitudes cause problems, as we go on to see. One of the problems is that we don't have schools of love. We study all sorts of things at school, engineering, rocket science, biochemistry, but we don't study sulking. How do we handle sulking? There should be a class every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, because it's a big part of adult life. But we believe that love is spontaneous and we don't need to study it. You know, in the olden days, you married someone for practical reasons. You married someone because their land was next to your land, or they had some animals and you had a plow or something, and that's why you got married. Nowadays, we marry for love, for feeling, because the feeling is right. And no one asks too much about the feeling. It's just, feeling. Well, if you have a feeling, you must marry. If you have that special magic feeling, you must get married. And no one asks why. Well, I believe that in the future, the real criteria of marriage should be psychological understanding. We should marry only when we understand ourselves and when we understand the other person. No feeling, only understanding. That should guide our love choices. I want to talk about some of the things in relationships that go wrong and some of the ways that they could go right. One of the main reasons why relationships go wrong is that people don't talk to each other enough in relationships. And they don't talk partly because there's a feeling that if you love someone, you shouldn't speak too much. One of the most wonderful things in the early days of love is the feeling that your partner understands you without you needing to say anything. It's like you just hold their hand and they feel what you feel and you feel what they feel. It's really beautiful. And maybe you both see the same film, and then when you come out of the film, you realize you felt the same thing. You didn't need to say, but you realize it was always the same. And this is a very dangerous idea, because this suggests that the more you love, the less you speak. Right? And that if you have to explain everything all the time, it can't be love. Love is wordless understanding. Well, this is a disaster. It's not true. In order for love to survive. We need to ask constantly questions about the other person. When we go on a date night with our partner, let's say you have children, and you go on a date night away from the children, and you're starting to talk again, you need to ask questions, big questions like, have I disappointed you? Are you angry with me about something? What would you like to change about me? Is there something I've forgotten about you? These are large questions, and no one really tells us that they're important questions. Is there something you are anxious about? You know, the greatest present, it's just been Christmas, right? So you've given your lover something nice, a ring or a painting or something beautiful. Okay, there's only one really romantic present, properly romantic present, which is 15 minutes of your time every day when you don't talk about yourself. All you do is listen to them. When you say, okay, what is in your mind, right? If people did that every single day, if every couple gave each other 15 minutes of time every day to properly ask what is going on inside your heart, the divorce rate would be a lot lower. But we don't do it. We forget to talk to the person we are with. It's a very basic error, and it is a catastrophe. A catastrophe. There is, in almost every modern married couple with children in Korea today, a terrible problem of resentment. The man resents the woman, and the woman resents the man. Now, in the olden days, the man went hunting. He did all the money things. And the woman went and did all the family things. She looked after the kids, and the home was her domain. Now, everything is mixed. So the man does a bit of the cooking and the cleaning, and the woman does some of the earning, and everyone does a bit of everything. It's very equal. It's also very painful because each side thinks that the other one is not doing their job properly. Secretly, the man thinks, my wife is not like my mother. My mother looked after me. She cared for me. She made the food that I liked. My wife has told me for the third night that I shouldn't go in the kitchen and cook. That's not very nice. I want mummy. Where is mummy? This is the secret thought of the man. Meanwhile, the mother thinks, the woman thinks, this man is not a real man. A real man earns all the money. He is strong. He is economically powerful. He is daddy. Daddy looks after his girl. This man is not daddy. And so on both sides, there is a feeling that the other person is not doing properly what they should. And we don't admit the terrible pain of this disappointment as we should. One of the big problems in love is sulking. I mentioned it earlier, the problem of sulking. As I said, we believe that in romantic love, you don't have to explain too much. And this is why there is sulking. You sulk. We don't sulk everybody. If at work someone doesn't understand something you said to them, you don't sulk them. You explain to them. You don't mind explaining. But in love, you don't want to explain. So let's imagine that your partner said something you didn't like during a dinner party. In the car on the way home, you sit like this. The partner goes, "Is anything wrong?" No. Right? You arrive home, you slam the door of the apartment, you go to bed on your own, you turn around, and you refuse to explain. Why? You refuse to explain because you think, if you are too stupid to understand me, I can't love you. I can only love someone who properly understands me. Well, come on. How can somebody understand you? All of you, every part of you. Please, explain. Use words. Don't be so angry. The sulking person is desperately disappointed. They wanted to be understood like a baby is understood by its mother. It's almost funny if it wasn't so sad and so difficult. There is also the problem of anger. You know, people in couples, very nice people, get horrible inside couples. I don't know how many of you are in couples. I'm sure there are some people who are married or in couples here, and I'm sure you are really nice people. But I'm also sure that when the door is shut, sometimes you have called your partner horrible things. Maybe you have called them a bitch or a bastard, or even worse, an idiot, certainly, a fool, a dumbhead, something, terrible things. If there was a video camera of your behavior, your friends would go, oh no, it's not possible. A nice person shouting like, no. But it's true. Why are we so horrible in relationships? We are so horrible because we're so scared. We think, I have given my whole life to this person, and they don't understand what kind of cheese I like. They don't understand what time I want to leave the party. They have forgotten how I like to keep the living room tidy. I am furious because I am worried. So the more you care for someone, the more your life is tied to somebody else's, the more their problems will not just disappoint you, they will scare you and frighten you and make you angry. And the only real solution, of course, is to be a little bit more realistic about what any one person can ever do for us. They can't satisfy every part of us, but we find it very hard to accept this. I want to talk about education. We are in Korea, everywhere, we love education. Education is great, we must always learn. But not in love, right? Have you ever had this sort of argument in love? Let's imagine you've gone out for dinner with some friends and your partner, and you talked a lot about your mother during the dinner. Your mother likes to keep flowers, and she likes to sing sometimes. And when she was a young girl, she went to Paris. Long stories about your mother. Then, in the car on the way home, your husband or wife says, you know, you spoke much too much about your mother. You're really boring. I mean, everyone was bored. You spoke for 20 minutes about your stupid mother. It's crazy. And then you may say this line, if you loved me, you wouldn't try to change me. Big line that people say to each other. Now, my feeling is that when you love someone, of course you have to try and change them. Are you perfect? Are you so perfect that you cannot be changed? Of course not. I need to be changed. You need to be changed. We need our lovers to change us. It's the kindest, the most romantic thing that we could do. So we shouldn't say that love doesn't involve change. Of course it does. The problem is, by the way, I should say that in ancient Greece, the ancient Greek philosophers said that love is education. That when you properly love someone, you are always trying to educate them to be the best person they can be, the most lovable person they can be. To love is to teach and to learn. Love is education. It sounds mad because we have this romantic idea that to love is to love everything about you, everything. How you hold your hand, how you have a teddy bear, your name when you were a child, how you talk about your mother, everything is lovely. No, not possible. Not everything about you is lovely. Some things, some things need to change. The problem is we react very badly when people want to change us. Now, the thing is that in love, we are bad teachers because we are panicked, scared, angry, disappointed teachers. Remember, if you're trying to teach a child maths and you go 1 + 1, what is that? And the child goes 9, and you go, no, darling, you're a very nice boy, but no, it's actually 2. They go, no, 3. You go, no, 2, no, 4, no, 2. And you're very quiet. Maybe you take half an hour to teach 1 + 1. Very, very patient. Now, this tells us how to be a good teacher. You are hopeful, you are very patient, you are very positive, you always say 5 nice things, and then 1 little criticism, because no one ever learns when you say, idiot, you're stupid at maths. Come on, 1 + 1 is 9, idiot. Right? No one has ever learned maths like this. We do not learn when we are afraid. So you need a calm teacher. The problem is, in love, we are not calm. We come away from the dinner party, we are furious. Our wife is an idiot. She talks for 20 minutes about her mother in an important dinner party. She's a fool. Right, we are going to teach her a special way. So the car door slams and we go, fool, idiot, everyone's bored, everyone thinks you're stupid. You are just a ridiculous person. This is not a good way ever to teach anyone. Maybe they will start crying. Maybe they will turn to you and go, well, you're boring too. You're a stupid, self-centered, idiotic person. And it's a disaster. No one has learned anything. And then maybe the person calls up their friend the next morning and they say, my horrible husband, he was nasty to me. And the friend goes, oh, yeah, my horrible husband, he says I talk too much at dinner party. The friend goes, no, you're so nice. I like your conversations. Oh, bullshit, nonsense, okay? But this is what friends will do. So, in relationships, people are trying to tell each other things, but they don't manage because they are panicked teachers. 1 + 1 is 9. No, idiot, 1 + 1 is 2. You must learn now, immediately. Otherwise, panic. And we are terribly scared students as well. So we don't learn. And we don't even accept that learning should be part of love, that it is a loving thing to try to educate someone, that we need to teach and we need to be taught. That is love. Another thing that goes really wrong in relationships is we think, in order for anyone to like us, we have to be really, really good people. When we were little, our parents often only love the good part of us. So when we throw the toast on the floor and are nasty people, the parents go, oh, no, not nice. But when we do violin practice or we're good at school, oh, sweet child, very good. So we have this idea, if I am good, I am loved. And if I am bad, I will not be loved. So from this situation, we feel in adult life that we must hide a lot of difficult sides of us from our lover. Otherwise, they won't really love us. And this can cause great difficulties because we are not honest. Imagine somebody who has money worries. I have money worries. I don't quite have enough money, my boss. Shall I tell my partner? I tell them? No. Because if I tell them, they may not love me. So I'm going to keep it a secret. I'll just go and borrow some money. And then I'll borrow a bit more money in secret. And I won't tell them. And I won't tell them. And I won't tell them. And I borrow more. And then the problem becomes huge. And you have a huge problem because you feel, I can't be loved and anything other than good And this causes great problems. When we do have our bad sides, it can be very useful to try and gently teach the other person about the bad side, so that we don't have too many of the wrong sorts of secret lives, which sometimes we have when we believe we can only be loved for being good. Let me talk to you about a psychoanalyst. He's an English psychoanalyst called John Bowlby, who is the father of marriage therapy. Marriage therapy is great. I really recommend it. And John Bowlby analyzed different people according to what he called an attachment style, a way of being in love, a typical way of being in love. And he suggested that there are basically three kinds of ways in which people are in love. One way to be in love is to be, as he put it, anxiously attached. When you are an anxiously attached person, in love you are always anxious that the other person doesn't love you enough and is about to run away. And so you text them a lot, you hold on to them tightly, you always ask them, what are you thinking? Where are you? Who called? Where did you go yesterday? Where will you be tomorrow? You really hold on a bit too tight because you are anxiously attached. Probably because in your childhood, something went a bit wrong and you never felt you had the secure relationship with your parents. Maybe they were often away, maybe they were often busy, but you never felt you had secure love. And so you've grown up to be anxiously attached. There's another kind of, in a way, bad relationship style, and that is when people are avoidantly attached. Now, an avoidantly attached person is a little bit afraid of danger in relationships. And whenever there is a fear of being disappointed in love, they will run away. They will go silent, they will go on their own, they will shut the door, they will read a book, and they will not talk. They close their arms. They avoid contact, they're avoidant relationship. John Bowlby thought that in the population, about 40 to 45% of people are anxiously attached, and about another 40% are 40% are anxiously attached, 40% are avoidantly attached, leaving the rest to be what he called securely attached. A secure person in love, they know how to trust, how to share, how to communicate, but they are a minority, a serious minority. And John Bowlby thought tragically that in most marriages that fail, you have one avoidant person and one anxious person. And the anxious person makes the avoidant person worse, and the avoidant person makes the anxious person worse. The anxious person is going to the avoidant person, do you love me? Where were you yesterday, etc.? The avoidant person is going, don't talk to me, I'm busy, you know? And it goes like this, so much distance. John Bowlby wrote, it could be an interesting exercise. He wrote a kind of questionnaire so that you can try and understand whether you are more anxious or avoidant or healthy. So let's do this now for you. So I'm going to read you a few sentences and see which one feels like you. See if you think, oh, yeah, that's me. Okay, so here's one person. I want emotionally close relationships, but I find that other people are often very disappointing or nasty without good reason. I'm worried that I will be hurt if I allow myself to become too close to other people. I don't mind spending time on my own. Now, who feels a little bit like that in the audience? Put up your hand if you feel a little bit like that in the audience. Okay. Well, guys, I'm happy to tell you, you are probably avoidant. That is the avoidant personality, okay? Here is the next personality type. I want to be very emotionally close with other people, but I often find that they are reluctant to get as close to me as I would like to get close to them. I worry that others don't value me as much as I value them. This can make me very annoyed. Anyone relate to that sentence? You don't have to put up your hand. Anyway, anyone who could relate to that sentence is probably anxiously attached. Now, there are a few people in the room who are going to relate, only a few, to this sentence. It's relatively easy for me to become emotionally close to other people. I'm comfortable depending on other people and having other people depend on me. I don't worry about being alone or if others don't like me. That's their issue. If you are like this person, well done, and you are securely attached. Right? You're one of the 20, 15, 18, something like this percentage of the tiny percentage of the population. Now, John Bowlby thought it's really, really important that you understand what kind of a person you are in love before a relationship starts. It's tremendously helpful if you can say, you know, I'm anxiously attached. I will call you a lot. I'm sorry, but I will probably call you tomorrow, the next day, every day, etc. That can really be helpful. Or it can be very helpful if on the first date, the person says, you know, I am avoidant. If there is a problem, I won't talk. If you hurt me, I will withdraw. I will play golf a lot, alone. I won't tell you what I feel if you have disappointed me. This can be such helpful information. What the goal is in all this is that we have to learn to be good lovers. Now, the idea of learning to be a good lover sounds like a really strange, spooky idea, to learn to be a good lover. But I believe that we really need to learn. And I've been trying to describe some of the things that we need, but let me summarize. I think that we are good lovers and therefore ready to get married. We are ready for marriage, properly for marriage, when the following things are in place. We're ready to get married when we no longer believe in the idea of a perfect person. There is no such thing as a perfect person. If you think, I'm getting married, my lover, they are so perfect. Danger, danger, no, they cannot be perfect. Of course not perfect. So no one is perfect. No one. And when you are with your husband or your wife in the train station and you see somebody from the back with their beautiful hair and their lovely cheek, they are not perfect either, okay? They will drive you crazy. If you knew their name and you had a child with them and you lived with them, crazy. They will drive you crazy. They look lovely, but they will drive you crazy. The first rule of relationships in maturity is no one is perfect, okay? The other thing is you must give up on ever being understood fully. No one will ever fully understand you. When you were very little, your mother maybe understood you really well. But you were 3. There wasn't much to understand. You were very tiny. Now you are complicated, and no one will understand you fully. You will always be alone with many things in your life. This is not a sign your life has gone wrong. It is a sign that your life is normal. We become properly adult when we accept that we are crazy. Really, really a bit strange. Right? When somebody says, you know, I've been living with myself now for so many years, and I really feel I'm a bit odd. Great. This is a sign that you are mature. Anyone who says, you know, I'm fairly normal, no. You still have a lot to learn about yourself. So this you must remember. We are ready to get married when we realize there is a very important distinction between loving and being loved, right? Loving and being loved. When we are children, we learn about being loved, right? We receive love from somebody else, normally our mother or our father. And we kind of love our parents, but not really. We sort of feel grateful, but we don't do much work vis-a-vis our parents. We don't say to our mother, oh, you've had a new haircut. It looks really nice when you're 5. Or, Daddy, how's your day been at work? You seem a bit tired. Right? You don't say this as a child, right? Because it's all about you. You are the middle of the universe. You're this special creature, and people love you. And the terrible thing is that we grow up thinking that adult love is child love, a kind of a different version of this. It isn't at all. It's very different. Real love means loving, and that means putting your own needs, fears, tiredness, etc., to one side and helping somebody else in the way you never helped your parents. You never had to help your parents in that way emotionally. This is a new skill. You have to learn what it means to love. And that's something that most people don't know how to do. So be modest about this. We have to learn how to love. We're ready for marriage when we understand a bit more about sex. Sex is a difficult issue because in the modern romantic world, we believe that sex belongs to love. That when you are in a loving relationship, this is the best place to have sex. That sex should not exist outside of love. But then we realize something strange, and psychologists and psychoanalysts know this, priests know this. Sometimes, the more you love someone, the harder it is to have sex with them. And when you have a fantasy, a sexual fantasy, you don't think about your partner, you think about a sailor that you saw by the docks, or a person you met at the train station, or a stranger. Almost like it would be easier to have sex with a stranger than with someone you love. Are you crazy to think this way? No, it's very normal. And here is the reason why. When we grow up as children, all children are sexual. It's a real taboo to mention this, but children have a sexuality. They are excited by mummy. Little boys want to touch mummy's breasts, her vagina. Little girls want to touch daddy's penis. And when you are a parent, this is really, it's funny and it's embarrassing. And you think, my God, it's so strange. Children, little children, are very sexual beings. And parents try very hard to go, no, it's, no, don't touch it, it's not possible, no. And it's all very embarrassing, and no one talks about it. And therefore, the child learns, where you really love your parents, no sex. And the child understands, and family life needs this. It's very important that we don't have sex between parents and children. So it's a good idea. But it creates a real problem in adult life when we feel, I really love someone. They're so lovely, a bit like I used to love my father. Then there's going to be a problem around sex. Or I really love this woman. Look at the way she serves dinner for the children, like my mother, right? Problem. How to have sex with this person when there is also love. So there's going to be a problem around love and sex. It's not your fault. It's the way we are made. Don't feel sad, just expect it. And when you meet a sailor or someone at the train station, well, you know why. So, I want to redesign the marriage ceremony. You know, when you get married, you go to the altar and you have your friends and the priest gives you some words to say, etc. And I think those words are the wrong words. So if I was the ruler of the world next year, I would change the word. This is my ideal marriage ceremony. I would say that both people have to say, I accept that I am in countless ways that I don't yet know very hard to live with. And then both people say, we accept not to panic when some years from now, what we are doing today will seem like it was the worst decision of our lives. Won't panic. Then third vow, when you are nasty, when you call me a fucking bastard, I will try to remember that at heart you are behaving like this because you are hurt and frightened, not because you are nasty. And the last vow, everyone has something very seriously wrong with them. So both of us, we promise not to look around, not to go off with other people. There isn't anyone better out there already. Once you get to know anyone, everyone is crazy. Amen. And these should be the new vows of mature love. I'm going to stop it there, but what I've tried to say to you is we need to learn how to become lovers. Everyone asks nowadays, how do I find the right person? We talk always of finding the right person. There's no such thing. Everybody's a bit wrong. The really romantic, properly romantic thing is not always to look for Mr. Right and Miss Right. It's to learn to live with the imperfect you and the imperfect he or she. That is true romanticism. That is true love. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
네, 감사합니다. 또 알랭드 보통의 마지막 질문, 사랑에 대해서 굉장히 어려운 질문인데 이 질문에서 이제 강의를 해주셨고요. 알랭드 보통이 사랑에 대해서 쓴 책 아시죠? 네, 왜 나는 너를 사랑하는가. 놀랐겠지만 이 책은 알랭드 보통이 23살에 썼다고 합니다. 네, 그때 이미 사랑에 대해서는 감정에서 많이 알고 있었던 것이죠. 오늘 그 사랑에 대해서 다시 한번 이야기하는 시간 가져보도록 하겠습니다. 알랭드 보통 다시 한번 박수로 맞이해 주세요. 네, 어제 이제 그 후기들을 보면서 그 알랭드 보통에서 한 말 중에 하나가, 알랭드 보통은 어떤 질문을 해도 깔끔하고 담백하게 답을 한다. 스위스산 치즈를 먹었나? 이제 이런 얘기를 하셨더라고요. 그래서 오늘 또 여러분들의 질문에 어떤 답을 해주실지 기대하셔도 좋을 것 같습니다. 그래서 그냥 생략하고 바로 또 이제 여러분 질문 한번 바로 시작하도록 할게요.
평소 너무 좋아했고 또 책도 인상 깊게 읽었던 알랭드 보통님의 좋은 강의 잘 들었습니다. 일단 정말 감사하고요. 말씀해주신 세 가지 유형의 사람들이 있었잖아요. 뭐 회피형도 있었고 불안형도 있었는데 그 대부분의 사람들이 그런 두 가지 형태의 심리 상태를 가지고 있고 나머지 정말 소수의 사람들이 안정적인 상태를 가지고 있다고 하셨는데 사실 저는 그 불안한 두 가지에 모두 속하는 것 같아요. 그래서 그런 제가 사랑을 잘 할 수 위해서는 안정적인 사람을 만나면 정말 운도 좋은 거고 좋겠지만 그렇지 못한 경우들도 많잖아요. 불완전한 존재들끼리 만나서 서로 잘 사랑을 해가는 데 있어서 어떤 조금 노하우나 방법적인 부분들 우리는 우리 자신을 알고 내 상태를 잘 알지만 이걸 극복하기 위해서는 어떻게 해야 하는가가 좀 궁금합니다.
Yeah. Look, I think the answer always is understanding. The more you understand yourself, the easier you are to live with. I mean, look, imagine an anxious person and an avoidant person in a relationship. Let's imagine he is avoidant because when he was 3 years old, his mother was very ill and had to go to another city for treatment for cancer and was away from the boy for months and months, and it was very difficult, and the boy responded by turning in on himself, becoming very private and avoidant, if you like. Now, let's imagine this person grows up and doesn't really understand their past or themselves. They go to New York for business. They work in a business and they are sent to New York for a few weeks or months, I don't know, a few weeks, and their wife calls them up. And at the end of a phone conversation, the wife says, let's imagine, I really miss you. And the avoidant husband will go, uh-huh. And the wife will go, no, I really miss you. It'd be so nice if you were here. And the man goes, uh-huh. So then the wife goes, third time, the children and I really miss you. And he says, I hope to go to the Empire State Building tomorrow. At which point the wife gets angry and goes, you know, you can really be a pain sometimes. And there's an argument. Now, if only the man had understood himself better, he would have said, when she said, you know, darling, I really miss you. You're 11 hours away or 15 hours away from Seoul, and I wish you were here. He would say, oh God, darling, I miss you too, but remember what I said to you about my past and everything? This situation makes me feel uncomfortable. I know I love you, and I know that you love me, but I can't do this goodbye thing. So do you mind if we just say goodbye quickly, because I can't do it? And she would go, of course, darling, I understand. I understand how you are. And that way, things would be peaceful. So we don't need to stop being crazy. I don't think we can. But the good thing is we need to understand our craziness and give other people some lessons in our craziness. You know, if you say to somebody, when I worry, I always start cleaning. So if you find that I'm cleaning a lot, don't worry, it's kind of just who I am. When I'm worried, I clean, right? That will really be helpful for the partner, because the partner won't want to think, oh my God, I've married a crazy person. It's midnight and they're starting to clean the kitchen floor, right? The person will not think that. The person will think, oh dear, they must be worried about something. They have told me about this slightly mad piece of behavior. So we go from thinking that we are nasty and crazy to thinking that we are lovable and a bit eccentric. And I think that's the best we can do in love.
네, 감사합니다. 네, 그다음 질문 한번 받아보도록 할까요?
Oh my God, you pick it, because if I pick the wrong one, then
여기 사인의 질문자 선정은 꼭 알랭이 할 수 있도록 이렇게 좀 떠서 네, 그래서
Oh my God,
알랭이 이제
sorry.
보내주시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 네.
So, yes, okay, this lady here, waving, yes, you, yeah. Oh, you next, yeah, okay. Yeah. You're making me have enemies,
okay,
huh?
yeah.
Because they will think, why? Yeah, okay. Actually, I didn't mean you, but anyway, you're lovely too. You're lovely too. Go for your question. Okay.
But actually,
Why not?
yesterday I asked the questions, and then please bear in mind, it's been for ages I didn't talk English, so bear in mind. Yesterday I asked the anxiety. My experiences, I feel like a bit anxious when I'm in relationships because I feel like it's not stable. It's not really stable. Even I love him though, and also I know he definitely loves me. But I feel like, like I don't believe love because human being is really selfish and like, human minds kind of flexible and then different yesterday and today. Who knows? So I feel like, okay, now I'm in love, but I know this relationship will be finished.
Okay.
Could be finished, so I feel like unstable. Then, that's the question. And do you ever think love is forever or not?
Okay, so you have described perfectly, literally perfectly, the anxiously attached person. You are 100% anxiously attached. Look at you. You are. Hang on, wait. I don't mean to be. You are beautiful, kind, nice, clever, right? And you are afraid. You are telling me that love never lasts, all this kind of bullshit. Why does love never last? It might last, it lasts sometimes, it doesn't last at other times. But if you go into a relationship going, no, love doesn't last, people say they're in love, but they don't really love. He's telling me now he loves me, but he'll change his mind. He's here today, but probably he's having an affair. He's holding my hand, but probably he doesn't want to hold my hand. He's touching my foot, but really wants to touch somebody else's foot. I mean, you're going to go crazy. And of course your relationship's going to last 5 minutes. So this is a big problem. You need to change yourself. You need to get to a place where you don't go into a relationship with the attitude of thinking that love doesn't last, people can't be trusted, everyone who says something is probably meaning something else. These are terrible. The healthy attitude should be this. Remember what I read. The healthy attitude is some relationships last, some fail. So neutral. It's possible to have happy love. People do have happy love. People can be trusted. If I'm rejected, I will survive. If I'm accepted, not everything will be perfect, but it will be nice. In some ways, this is the robust, strong attitude of the securely attached person. Look, we are all wrong in many ways, so I don't mean to blame you, but please think about yourself a bit more, because your attitude is going to put a bomb under every relationship. It's a bomb. If you enter a relationship thinking the man who seems nice is secretly not nice, I mean, you can't have a relationship like this. I mean, you need to go in with trust. Maybe your trust will be lost, but you can't be, oh my God, I'm going to be hurt, and then I'm going to grab them, and no, it's terrible. Anyway, so that's my advice. Thank you. Now, there's a lady who stood up, and then you. So that lady with a striped jumper, yeah.
Thank you for picking me. My name is Ah-jung from Busan, the second city in Korea, with beautiful Asia-Pacific Ocean. So next time you visit Korea, please come to Busan.
I will,
Yeah.
thank you.
And enjoy the beautiful ocean.
Oh, thank you. Was that your question? Are you here from the tourist board of Busan? No, I would love to. Of course, I would love to.
Yeah, my
Thank you.
future vision is running the business in the tourist business.
You want to go in the tourist business?
Yeah. Anyway, it's not about love question.
Okay.
It's about the inspiration of you, because I think I owe you a lot in my 20s, because I read all the books of you, and when I met the first book of you, I
love her
impressed.
already. I love her already. It's done. Despite everything I've said, I love you immediately. No, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Cheers,
It's very
darling.
kind, very
Yeah.
kind.
You wrote a lot about the anxiety and good economy yesterday. The modern society's family, love, and relationship, marriage, lonely married man, the lonely girl of 20s who met a very successful guy in romantic move in love. What drives you to write that theme, even though you wrote about the Heathrow International Airport for 7 days? You stay there?
Look, I would say that I have written books on many different topics, but the thing that really interests me ultimately is what can make us happier or less sad. I'm in a way a very practical person. I'm interested in looking at the reasons for which we are sad and lonely and disappointed and anxious, and I want to try and find not always answers, because not every problem has an answer, but at least a description of the problem which is helpful and can make some progress. So all my work, from my novels to books about work to books about airports, etc., it's always underneath there is a search, I suppose, for satisfaction and fulfillment, I would say. Now, there was another lady who stood up. Yes,
네.
yes, yeah.
네. 이제 질문 진행하실 때 이제 통역 다 진행되니까요.
We'll also go
편하시게
further afield next, because I feel
네, 연하게
yeah.
한국말로 진행해 주시면 좋겠습니다. 네.
전 책에 나온 왜 너는 나를 사랑하는가에 나온 비트겐슈타인의 토끼 그림 비유를 정말 좋아하거든요. 근데 거기에서는 사랑의 경향성으로 사람을 본다고 했어요. 그래서 거기 나오는 여자 주인공의 비뚤어진 치약 배열마저도 그 남자 주인공 눈에는 너무 아름답게 보인다고 하더라고요. 그러면 내가 사랑하는 대상의 불완전함조차도 내 눈에 완벽하게 보이는 게 사랑이라는 거잖아요. 그러면 제 눈에 완벽해 보이는 사람을 내 사랑하는 대상으로 기다리는 것은 현명한 건가요?
네.
Definitely, but they should never think you're totally perfect, because you're not, but you're good enough, and that's all we need in this world. None of us are angels. We are not perfect human beings. We are fallen, broken human beings. But you know, I think it's interesting when you talk about beauty, because we have this idea in society of the beautiful face, perfectly symmetrical, etc. And I don't know if you ever feel something I feel sometimes when you love someone and know someone really well. Sometimes you look at their face and you think, okay, they would never be on the front cover of Vogue or a fashion magazine. They are not classically beautiful. But the more I know you, the more I understand you, the more I find you beautiful. And I think that the feeling of beauty is not just, is the eye exactly this shape, etc. It's, do I love this person? And when you love someone, you start to find their face beautiful. I mean, we knew this as children. Imagine, you know, you're a child and you're sitting with your grandmother. She's an old lady. She doesn't look beautiful. Her skin is dried up, her nose is a slightly funny shape, etc. But she's the sweetest person. And when you look at her face, your heart is warmed. And so we knew this as children, and we can know it as adults. What we look for is goodness, and goodness makes beauty. And many of us in this room, especially me, we need people to look at us with kindness in order for people to find us beautiful. We wouldn't be found beautiful just like this. Some people, everyone finds beautiful without knowing anything about them. They're just immediately beautiful, like, you know, a model. But most of us are not models. Most of us, we need a heart to be known before we can be found beautiful. But then the good news is we can be found beautiful. And so sometimes mothers reassure their children, it's okay, someone will love you. Really what I think the mother is saying is, someone will find you as beautiful as I find you because I know you. And in this area, your mother is right. So, good luck.
네, 오랫동안 기다리시기 바랍니다. 네, 이쪽 섹션에서 한번
Yes,
보도록
let's take some further away, like quite far. Actually, the people who sit far away have no questions because they just came in by chance. They thought it was a lecture on bioengineering. Okay,
네.
so maybe the last, with the guy waving a book. The guy
네, 네.
waving a book. Yeah, yeah. Let's have some men as well because they have different perspectives.
네, 저는 그 결혼을 해서 그 아마 지금 이 시간에 제일 그 두려움을 가지고 강의를 듣고 있는 사람인 것 같은데요. 오늘 아침에 오면서 저희 와이프의 저도 얼굴에 그 묻어 있는 밥풀을 보면서도 사랑하는 마음으로 나오고 싶었는데 아침에 싸우고 나왔어요. 근데 지금 시간이 다가워질수록 제가 강의 끝나고 가면 집에서 더 큰 괴로움을 겪게 될 텐데 그때 돌아가서 어떤 말을 하면 제가 그 괴로움들을 최소화시키고 그리고 두 번째 질문은 그 어제 제가 굉장히 그 사인을 받고 하고 싶었어요. 왜냐하면 지금 임신 중이라서 굉장히 민감한 상태에 있는데 어제도 8시에 강의가 끝나서 사인을 받아가서 선물을 주면 굉장히 기뻐하지 않을까 싶었는데 제 책을 어제 사가지고 갖고 있었거든요. 그래서 앞에 기다리는데 뒷문으로 가셔서 사인을 못 받았는데 두 번째는 꼭 사인 해주시면 제가 오늘 그 두려움을 최소화시킬 수 있는 좋은 강의가 될 것 같습니다.
Okay, we'll move to another question, and while we're doing that, pass your book to the front, and I'll sign it. Okay, so we'll just pass it. Okay, so we'll take another question, and let's get your book to the front. So let's get the guy, the man. Yeah. Please don't ask the same thing. It was a one-off. Thanks.
네,
네, 안녕하세요. 저도 어제 오늘 강연 너무 들어서 영광이었고요. 저는 알랭드 보통 씨는 그 사람의 행복을 위해서는 반드시 사랑이 필요하다, 배우자가 필요하다라고 얘기를 하시는 것 같은데 그럼 독신으로 사는 것에 대해서는 어떻게 생각하시는지. 물론 제가 독신주의자는 아닌데 그거에 대해서 여쭤보고 싶고요. 그리고 저도 지금 인생학교 6라는 책을 읽고 있는데 저도 꼭 사인을 받고 싶습니다. 부탁드리겠습니다.
So the feeling that you need someone in order to be happy. My honest view, I have been alone for long periods of my life, and I've been together with someone for a long period of my life. And I honestly believe that you can be happy and unhappy in both situations. If you are with someone, you always feel that if you were alone, things would be better. And when you are alone, you always feel that if you were with someone, things would be better. So you always think that the other side is better. And honestly, the truth is, you'll always be a bit unhappy about something. So do you want to swap the pain of loneliness for the pain of claustrophobia? Do you want to swap the pain of being misunderstood with the pain of feeling there is no one who could understand you, etc.? It's just, whatever you do, you will be a bit unhappy. And that's okay, that's life. So please don't think there is some ideal situation that is there and you are shut off from it by some persecution. You're not. And I'm sure you will meet someone in time and they will be lovely and you will love them and it will be wonderful and they will drive you crazy and sometimes you will hate them and sometimes they will hate you and sometimes it will be wonderful and sometimes it will be awful and sometimes it will be wonderful and sometimes it will be awful, and that is life. Thank you. Okay,
네.
some questions over there. Okay, someone waving their book over there. Yeah.
저는 이제 이런 오늘 말씀 주신 말씀에 대해서 많은 조언들을 주시는데 사실 막상 전문가분들은 막상 자기의 시츄에이션에서는 막상 그 이론이나 자기가 가리키던 대로 실제로 행동하지 못할 때가 많다고 들었는데 지금 이런 강연을 해주시는 알랭드 보통 씨는 실제로 본인의 이런 패밀리 라이프 바운더리 내에서 어떻게 그걸 이렇게 문제들을 해결하시고 어떻게 이상적인 관계를 이렇게 안정성 있게 유지하시는지 그런 실제 사례 같은 것들을 듣고 싶습니다. 감사합니다.
Socrates had was said to have had a very difficult marriage, and people said, how could a wise philosopher like Socrates have a difficult marriage? And his answer was, people who have an easy marriage don't learn very much about marriage. So it's very useful for a philosopher to have a difficult marriage. I don't want to say this is me, this is Socrates. But look, I think I am not a guru. A guru is somebody who feels that they have all the answers, they have worked out every problem, their life is pure in every way, and they sit at the top of a mountain and they give perfect advice to others. No. I am crazy like the next person. My life is mad and difficult and full of great joy and great sadness, and deep melancholy and deep satisfaction, everything that we all have. I am just totally normal. The only difference is I try to write about it. And I feel that I will do well if I can be very honest about things that really go on in couples and in life. I think the duty of the writer is to be honest about life. And sometimes that means that it might get quite dark, but that's okay because it helps everyone. You know, when this man who wanted a signature said, "I've had an argument with my wife," everyone who's had an argument with their partner immediately thought, "Phew, I'm not alone." And the feeling that you are not alone is a very, very important part of why we have literature and art. Literature and art are there to remind us that we are not alone. And that's all I can do. I don't claim to be perfect. There was a woman who stood up, and why doesn't she stand up again? Yeah.
네.
안녕하세요. 저도 결혼해서 지금 신랑이랑 서로 같이 잘 이해하고 지내려고 하면서 이 책의 도움을 많이 받고 있는 사람 중에 한 명인데요. 가끔은 서로를 너무 이해하려고 하다 보면 자신의 생각이나 오히려 자신의 감정을 더 드러내지 못하는 경우가 있는 것 같아요. 특히 여자분들은 더 많이 그런 걸 느끼실 것 같은데 본인의 생각이나 본인의 원래 성격, 가치관들을 이렇게 잃어버리거나 없애지 않은 채로 상대방을 이해할 수 있는 그런 균형을 맞출 수 있는 기준이나 방법 같은 게 있을까요? 서로 다치지 않고 이해할 수 있는 그런 균형. 그게 되게 어려운 것 같아요.
No, it's not easy at all to have a conversation with your spouse. I mean, it sounds stupid, but there can often be so much anger and so much lack of trust between partners that when they finally sit down and have a conversation, there is just, you know, one person says, I think you were a bit like this yesterday. And the other one goes, well, what about you last week? And you go, no. Let's not talk about last week. Let's talk about yesterday. And they go, well, you always try to change the subject. And suddenly it becomes an explosion. The reason I like marriage therapy, what marriage therapy is a conversation with a policeman in the room. And what I mean by a policeman is someone who stops and goes, oh, hang on, don't fight. Let's just talk. And it's a very simple job. You don't need a therapist. Maybe a friend can do this, but you just need someone or some way of not getting too angry too quickly, not getting too scared too quickly, promising each other that for maybe half an hour you will be gentle with each other. You won't lose your temper. It's terribly hard. It is possible. I'm so sorry for you, and I hope you make progress.
네, 감사합니다. 마지막 질문 한 두세 개 정도만 더 받아보고 마무리하도록 할게요. 네.
Two more. Okay, so I think some of the people in the middle have been neglected. So there's I think a lady waving something in the middle. Yes, waving a sheet. Yes, that person. Yes.
여자분, 네.
Yeah. If
잠깐만 영어로 말할게요. Yeah.
네, 네.
Yes. Yeah, I know you got married, and I'm so nervous. It was really nice to meeting you. And yeah. 제 질문은 그 커플들이 비슷한 사람끼리 만나는 게 좋을지 아니면은 다른 성격을 가진 사람들이 만나는 것이 좋을지 서로를 더 이해하기에 어떤 타입의 커플이 더 좋다고 생각하시는지 궁금합니다.
Look, I think in the end, everyone is a different personality. Even someone who starts off by going, this person looks similar because some of their interests are like mine. At the end of the day, everyone is very different to everyone else. So I think I don't believe in this distinction between people who are like us and people who are different. We're all very, very different. So the number one thing you need is, the most important thing you need is the capacity to talk and to admit that you are not perfect. You see, anyone who's in a relationship, the nicest thing you can ever hear from your partner is, I'm sorry, I know I'm not perfect. If somebody says that, automatically you can no longer be angry with them. If they say, I'm sorry, I'm not perfect, that really helps the situation. Someone who is willing to change and to grow, that's the sexiest thing. We talk about what is sexy, some kind of shoe or a boot or a hairstyle. No. The real sexiness is someone who goes, I want to learn, I'm not perfect, I want to make some discoveries with you, I want to change our relationship so it becomes better. Right? This is sexy, and that's what we need more of. Okay, I think we have a last question.
On second floor.
Okay, second floor.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, on the first floor. Okay, second floor.
Yeah.
Anyone still awake?
Last two questions, yeah. Two questions.
Two questions. Okay. Yes. So that person waving something.
네. 캡 드시는 분, 네. Yeah.
오늘 질문 못하고 갈 줄 알았는데 이렇게 마이크 받게 돼서 영광입니다. 굉장한 빅팬이라서 알랭드 보통 씨가 쓰신 책들을 거의 다 읽었는데요. 그 중에서 가장 감명 깊게 읽었던 책 중에 하나가 우리는 사랑일까라는 책을 굉장히 감명 깊게 읽었습니다. 근데 그 책에 관한 질문을 좀 하려고 하는데요. 그 책 안에는 그 남녀 간의 사랑에 있어서 권력 관계가 항상 존재한다고 얘기를 하고 있어요. 그러니까 흔히 말하면은 갑과 을의 관계가 늘 존재한다고 하는 건데요. 저는 이제 그것을 직접 경험을 해봐서 잘 알고 있습니다. 그렇다면 제가 드릴 질문은 남녀 관계에서의 갑과 을의 어떤 관계가 고착화되었을 적에 그 관계는 건강하지 못한 관계이고 실패한 사랑인지, 아니면 이를 통해서 또 그 안에서 또 다른 행복을 추구할 수 있는 건지, 이런 남녀 사이의 권력 관계에 대한 알랭드 보통 씨의 생각을 듣고 싶습니다.
Look, you know, there's a paradox that power in a relationship, the person who is powerful is always the person who loves less. If you love less in a couple, you are powerful. If you need less, you are powerful. And this is terribly difficult, but I think the spirit of love, what love really is the desire not to be powerful. If you want to be powerful, go into the army, go to the office, find somebody else to torture. don't go into love. Love should be a place where we make ourselves weak, where we say, you could hurt me, right? You begin to properly be in a loving relationship with someone when you give them the power to hurt you. And you take the risk that they can hurt you. That is what it means to be ready for love, is to be ready in a way for pain. And otherwise, you are just wearing armor, and you can't wear armor in love. Last question.
감사합니다. 네, 마지막 질문은 제가 드리도록 할게요. 네. 다리 사역으로 마지막 질문은 제가 드릴게요. 네. 알랭드 보통이 생각하는 사랑이란 무엇인가요? Just what is love?
What is the definition of love? So many things, but I think that one of the very important things in love is to care for another human being, to want something better for another human being than you want for yourself. It starts when a parent loves a child, and when the parent cares more about the child than about themselves. Love is about sacrifice. Love is about giving rather than taking. It's very strange to love. It takes a long time to learn how to do this thing. We normally want to just suck in love. We don't want to give it. It takes a long time to realize that maybe we can love and that there is something beautiful in making another human being happy, in listening to them, in sharing their pain, in understanding them. That this is a beautiful joy, that you are not forgetting all about yourself, you are growing as a human being. You are growing by helping another human being. I would say that our society thinks that it loves love, but it doesn't understand very much about love. I think that most of us don't know how to love. We're very interested in love, but we don't know how to love. And that's why so many relationships fail. And I hope passionately that in the future we will learn to love. I think you can learn to love. You can be taught how to love, because all of us know a little bit deep inside what love really is, but we need some lessons in love. And I think we are still very primitive about love. We think we've worked it all out. We haven't. We are still at the beginning of the age of love. And the divorces and the suffering and all this, I hope that in 200 years we will look back on love today and we will say, my goodness, there was so much loneliness, there was so much confusion, there was so much people didn't understand. I hope we will make progress. And in a very modest way, what I'm trying to do is to help on the journey towards better loving. Thank you so much.
네, 감사합니다. 네, 오늘 알랭드 보통이 정의해준 사랑의 정의와 또 그 불안을 정말 가득 안고 우리 남은 삶 살아갔으면 합니다. 알랭드 보통이 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드릴게요. 감사합니다.